Yeah, absolutely. But from the side of Flash Wolves, I do think that they could pick the supportive bot lane.
Yep.
Lux, Sona, or Senna, Galio.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Or Senna, Nasus. I don't know. Yeah, to reinforce the top side because they already pick out what Riven and Renekton.
Yeah, that's definitely true as well. And with the Riven Renekton both picked up, it's very likely that we're gonna see Cookie pilot that Riven, which means I think it's very likely what you say is gonna come true. They're gonna look for Sona Lux.
Ooh.
Maybe
Smash
Team
Lux
Secret is a bit too
away.
smart though. Maybe Team Secret is just a bit too smart.
This is interesting. This is interesting. So, if this is a Lux for James, this is something that we haven't seen since the summer season. Coming back, being summoned back over here. This is really interesting. And now, Flash Wolves pick up the Rakan.
Okay, so Flash Wolves this time around, they are gonna have the miracle team fights. They're gonna have the big potential for team fight wombo combos. There we go, Team Secret, they're rounding it off. It's very clear what they want to do. Their team fight identity is they want to play 4-1. They want to make sure Ziggs can clear waves, Lux can clear waves from a long distance away. You have the Lucent Singularity, you have the Mega Inferno Bomb to even clear out sideways, and you just make space. Give Azar the time and space to break the turrets in the outer lane, and that's gonna be the win condition here for the side of Team Secret.
Jess, any final thoughts as that draft rounds up?
Yeah, just as almost said earlier, the value from Lux ultimate and Six ultimate gonna be a huge factor for this game. Like they could stall out and then buy the time for Six, Fiora and Kai'Sa to go into the late game.
Yeah, and it definitely looks exciting on the side of Team Secret. James bringing that Lux back in action against Flash Wolves, a team that has definitely made Lux one of their signature picks. This is quite a statement indeed. Let's get into game one. Casters, over to you guys.
Here we are. Welcome everyone to the lower bracket semifinals between Team Secret and Flash Wolves. Both teams had their own moments of brilliance, but today only one will remain to proceed to the next round to fight BRU for the last slot to the Horizon Cup. I'm Infinity, with me is Riku. And you know what, Riku? I'm feeling excited and I'm having anxiety both at the same time because it's all down to this for both teams from Philippine region and the Taiwan region.
Exactly, and this is going to be a BO3 series at that. No BO5s to adjust to, where Team Secret and Flash Wolves is able to take their time to adjust with the draft, with their mental state as well. But this time, BO3, and they're only basically one game away to get that chance towards the last slot of the Horizon Cup, just as you mentioned. And again, Flash Wolves, there's a lot of veteranship in this team, a lot of experience back during the League PC days. And, you know, this roster has been very, very impressive, considering the fact that, again, with basically 380 carries on paper, you've got Bruce having to play back in League PC days. Hold that thought, though.
Yeah, very
Mid lane.
impressive. Yeah, and when we talk about Flash Wolves, we see Bruce. And now the question is, are we going to see Bruce Almighty or are we going to see Bruce All Puny?
We've seen the latter version back in one single game up against MBR, which is the Aurelia versus Ari matchup against Radiance there. And it didn't pan out too well. It was Bruce taking a lot of 1v1s and honestly, and not succeeding. And basically, the opposite of online, it became offline. But I feel like this scenario this time around, when you're up against the Ziggs, Bruce is able to make solo plays, be able to land those charms, be able to assassinate, and possibly even assist Cookie in initiating during the skirmishes, during the Rift Scuttler takes, possibly maybe during early Rift Herald and early Dragon takes. So Team Secret should definitely watch out for that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned about Bruce on how he can turn on and turn off, because he has this tendency to go online or offline depending on how he plays throughout the game. He has this very aggressive playstyle up against any of the teams that he has certainly fought against here in SEA Championships 2021. So is this aggression being a risk or being a benefit for Flash Wolves overall? It's a Bruce show coming down to it, especially up against Team Secret. We've seen how they played yesterday up against SBTC, running it down up to game number 5 for that very last game. And right now, they're going in a very different route here for Team Secret, going for their untraditional but played a familiar draft from when they did summer season with the Lux Kai'Sa, with Ziggs being so much damage. when it comes to Team Secret's composition.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We've seen the Lux before being consistently paired with the Ziggs, just because you have that light binding into the bombs. You just basically funnel in. Here's a dive, though.
Yeah, Trevor going in for Sword and Battery knocks him hop. 2-man Vault Breaker, and Flash Wolves
wow.
will lose their ADC. 1 HP for Chewy. He goes live.
That is a clean dive coming from Trevor and Chewy. Could have been much more dicier, though, where Chewy and Trevor would fall. That is not the ideal situation, but Team Secret gets first blood. And usually, you know, we saw James yesterday on the Thresh, where you basically try to assist your jungler, initiate the 2v2s, set it up for ganks. But this time around, it's most likely the same concept. You know, Death Sentence, light binding, except the difference is you're less tankier, but you're definitely more damage. You definitely offer a bit more of that damage, especially come Final Spark, which is now level 5 online.
Yeah, and I think this is where Team Secret is looking at. You know what? We're going to pick up Vi because it's a point-and-click CC. So it's surely going to lock onto that champion, except maybe of a Stasis Enchant if the enemy team buys one. But for now, in this early game, I think this is where Team Secret needs to prioritize having this Vi, having this Lux, having so much single-targeted CC up against Flash Wolves. And they picked up the first blood for this, and it's showing fruition. But now, it's Rakan going for the Grand Entrance, picks up one, but no follow-up. And Bruce almost gets the charm, but Team Secret will go back away.
Okay, not a lot of ults consumed by Team Secret. Everything is still pretty much intact except the flash of James. This is going to be very crucial. They have to try and contest this one. They have a lot of poke.
And look at Tatsuri's damage so much. In 4-man knockback coming for Satchel Charge. The Flash Wolves trying to go through. Bruce connects on the charm, but follow up from Trevor with a knock-up and gets the kill. Triple for Team Secret. Make it 4 as they bring down Locking.
And look at that, Azar gets 2 kills in that fight. Imagine when we look back at the AD, the Analyst Desk has mentioned the featured matchup would be Azar and Ysera. And look at Ysera, he is able to pick up the Renekton, which is, again, one of his best picks in the entire tournament. And he wasn't able to be involved in the party. It was Azar who was in the middle of it all, able to rack up 2 kills, now buying a Trinity Force, which is going to be a very, very good spike, meaning this Triforce first item buy will be available in the Rift Herald contest, and Flash Wolves will have to be careful.
Yeah, and I think Flash Wolves right now is being surprised constantly on how Team Secret is playing this game number 1. Going for the early aggression coming from Trevor. Azar going for that early roam into that contest, into the Dragon fight. And Flash Wolves just came with a surprise. And now being locked down into 5-kill deficit. The Team Secret is now leading with around 4k gold lead in this game 1 is an absolute phenomenal playstyle for Team Secret. This early game is the name of the game.
Yeah, they're able to... You know, Tatsuri, even though he ran out of mana, it was fine. He was still able to satchel and zone out the rest of Flash Wolves. Now we get to see this. The second contest, the second fight. Again, Eason, it will be the #1 engage. And the Grand Entrance is available, so they can set up again. And they have to make sure that they have to 100% commit.
Yeah, now Team Secret is going for that commitment. Now Ysera being knocked up by Trevor, but also stunned up.
Cookie.
And look at Eason, starts up the fight with a Grand Entrance and also the charm. But Team Secret
Azar
will take 2 kills and trade for 2 for Flash Wolves.
Yeah, no jungler available anymore for the side of Flash Wolves. Therefore, they will decide to just back away and respect the fact that Trevor is still pretty much alive. The carries, Chewy and Tatsuri, are pretty much alive. And therefore, both of these teams have no choice but to get that reset on. And what happened there was Cookie really did an amazing job zoning out the carries like Tatsuri and Chewy into the backline. So even though Team Secret had a really good re-engage, response on their engage rather, there was no follow-up to see.
Yeah, and when we're talking about Cookie, when we're talking about Riven, so much spam skills, so much AoE CCs, and even then, he's a bit tanky with his skill set, so I think that's the reason why Flash Wolves is having this sort of bruiser comp up against Team Secret, especially with Team Secret having double squishy champions. And now Team Secret gets the Rift Herald, no steal coming from Flash Wolves.
Yeah, the timing was a little bit worrisome there. Cookie did not have Smite, I believe. He just wanted to try his luck on that for picks, which is so possible just because Trevor is on this vibe. Point and click stun, able to use that with the Assault and Battery, and the fact that there's 2 global ults like the Final Spark and the Mega Inferno Bomb to finish off targets.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned about Tatsuri. The season potential of Team Secret composition is great. because you also have Azar when you're looking at that mid game, late game to have that split push potential, and Tatsuri to have that early game siege up against Flash Wolves. So we're looking at that Tower First Blood. I think at this point in time, Flash Wolves needs to get that return, needs to get that trade when it comes to objectives, because Team Secret is just leading. They need to get that Tower First Blood if they wanna creep back in their 2-3k gold deficit in this game. And I think the thing that we need to look at for that will be Isara, because when we're looking at top lane, it's probably already one plate down for the top side. If Zara leaves and roams on how he does it, there's an opportunity open for Flash Wolves to do so. But always remember, Tatsuri is just around the corner. If you leave a lane open, it's a good opportunity for Team Secret to make it back. But for now, let's talk about the winning conditions, because right now Flash Wolves is on the edge of their seats, Riku. I don't know what's going to happen here, but they need to come back in this game.
Yeah, Flash Wolves, again, they have to utilize Bruce to get early picks and send him ahead, because so far, you know, it is about prolonging. Either before an objective starts, you get a pick coming from Bruce, or Flash Wolves plays the Dragon Dance and basically have locking poke until Team Secret decides to call it a day, calls for that reset. And for Team Secret, they're just so happy getting into these 5v5s, because that is exactly their specialty. They've faced SBTC yesterday. They've basically faced one team yesterday as well with all their 5v5 comps. We'll see. We could see it again in this Dragon fight.
Yeah, Flash Wolves starting the Ocean Dragon. Team Secret is just around the corner on the pitch, waiting for that opportunity to arise. But Isara is there. A different start from what we saw while they go for the knock-up. And now it's going to be Trevor with the Assault and Battery. And Flash Wolves takes the Ocean Dragon. Now Team Secret wants to trade with a kill as they get Eason, as they try to get more. And Killer Instinct jumps in from Chewy, gets 2. And now it's Flash Wolves on the edge, loses 1 more. And Isara will be the only one alive. But Trevor does not want to leave this open. And Team Secret gets the ace.
Was that the triple from Trevor earlier? That is just absolutely insane. Everybody from Flash Wolves were basically all clumped together, and that stun basically set another re-engage for that fight. Let's take a look at this again, because remember, James is on a Lux, Tatsuri is on a Ziggs. If you're all clumped together in the Dragon Pit, it's just so easy for these AoEs to hit you. And again, the thick shields being helping the rest of Team Secret to survive this. Killer Instinct, everybody else can practically just jump over the wall here with Chewy with the Killer Instinct. So follow-up wise, it's just very ease of execution. And that's a triple kill for Trevor. Insane on the Vi.
Yeah, and we saw a while ago, right? In that Dragon fight, Isara was matching 1v1 up against Azar, which leaves pretty much every single one open for Flash Wolves. Because when you're looking at Bruce, when we're looking at locking, they're very squishy champions. So Team Secret, they have a lot of single targeted CC, so they just can lock it down up against Flash Wolves in those team fights. And I think they utilize that opportunity very well. Now the question is that even worth it for Flash Wolves? They got the Ocean Dragon, yes, but they lost 5 members out of that, giving Team Secret an absolutely insane gold lead at 7k.
Yeah, we already see Tatsuri having the Rabadon's death cap on the board. Quite, you know, having to get that item first versus Bruce, so he is definitely going to keep hurting even more. So now, just Flash Wolves just trying to mitigate their losses, because eventually Isara is going to fall off, just going to be shredded by Chewy and Tatsuri before he even knows it. Once he slice and dices into the fight, he's basically already half HP or already close to death, just because of the scaling coming from Team Secret. And because TS has full control now of the early game, it's looking pretty dire for Flash Wolves.
And this is what we stated. If Team Secret looks at a lane, it's open. No one's defending. We could push. We could punish. And now we're looking at the 3 turrets taken down for Team Secret. Pretty much the whole map control in this game number 1 at 11 minutes is towards Team Secret. No turrets as of yet for Flash Wolves. And that difference is massive when we're talking about the jungle invade potential for Team Secret. Flash Wolves need to be wary on where they step in, because Team Secret can pretty much be anywhere and can obliterate Flash Wolves in a blink of an eye.
Or they could do the opposite, because look at them now. They're trying to see if they can get Chewy, but they basically do see this coming. And right now, for Flash Wolves, they cannot try to siege, or else they're just going to get dove upon. And they cannot try to clear the waves either to set up for chip tower damage just because of the Mega Inferno Bomb. Tatsuri can just basically dish out to wave clear towards the side lanes. The same thing goes for Hamiz's Final Spark. It is also a very good scouting ability too. If ever you know Flash Wolves decides to take a sneaky Baron at some point of the game, it's just very, very difficult. Final Spark is in a relatively low cooldown as an ult, so as time progresses, that scouting ability and wave clear ability is going to be a huge problem for Flash Wolves, just trying to find control over the rest of the map.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you mentioned about it. Ziggs, Lux, semi-global ultimates all around for Team Secret, but look here for Trevor. Face check for Ysera. They get the 1v1 happening, but Ysera just forces back away because there were two members for Team Secret. A quick response can happen, and now Flashwolf looks for mid lane.
This could be a potential collapse. Looks like they're able to zone out Team Secret. Here comes the engage.
Yeah, clear wave easy for Team Secret there. Chain of Corruption onto Trevor, locked him down. A lot of damage, but so tanky for Trevor. Ysera cancels down the Assault and Better with a Stasis Enchant. Good call, but Flash Wolves is still on a dire situation as Team Secret looks for mid lane pressure. Can Flash Wolves bring this back, alleviate some of the pressure here, as Ysera is just jumping around, slicing and dicing on the minion wave, trying to control the mid lane. But Team Secret has the control onto the Baron, and now they're starting it.
Yeah, because there is no Chain of Corruptions and Dominus anymore for Ysera on this Baron.
Now, Eason, though, has his ultimate up. So if Team Secret compiles on top of each other, that's going to be so much difficult for them to make it back. But they're respecting this potential for Flash Wolves. They're going back, just defending the mid lane. They're going to lose it as Flash Wolves takes their first hit in game.
Really nicely done by Flash Wolves. I love the back and forth, the adjustments on the macro decisions that Team Secret and Flash Wolves were doing. Azar, though, couldn't finish off the last tower or in the inner tower towards topside, which is... I find it a little bit strange just because Flash Wolves were pretty busy with the dragon. I felt like they could have... Azar could have taken that inner tower for himself, but I feel like the decision falls because the decision was Team Secret wanted to have all 5 players near the Baron, get that back by Death Stance to make sure that your survivability is going to increase in the potential fight that might come in.
Especially if Baron Nashor alive, Team Secret constantly puts pressure on this and might as well Flash Wolves engage, and now Team Secret does that first. Trevor goes for the Assault and Better. First kill for that team fight for Team Secret, puts down Eason. Now Flash Wolves has to repeat. They don't have the engage. Stasis for Cookie to stay alive for one more second, and he does! No kill for Team Secret, but instead killing off Bruce and Cookie with the Luden's Echo coming from Tatsuri. Mind-blowing. Flash Wolves loses 3 members out from that fight.
I want to see that again because Chewie basically dodged his potential death. But Ysera, though, might not have the same story here. Bruce almost killed Chewie with a charm. And that means if Chewie could have died, the Baron could have been insanely slow, perhaps, in this take. But with Cookie's death, that means there is no potential steal that could happen despite Chewie might potentially die there. But I just gotta praise Chewie's footwork over there. The jittery shoes that Chewie just showed just to dodge out, basically play mind games against Bruce. The charm did not hit. I just gotta put it out there. It was amazing to watch.
And I think this advantage came from the vision engagement from Team Secret. They have a lot of wards on top side, so Flash Wolves was just hovering around. They did not have any information that Team Secret was there, and yes, they have a slight intent. You know what? Maybe they're there, maybe they're not, but Team Secret just surprised them, and I think they picked off Eason. One of the engagers for Flash Wolves, the only one that could AoE set up the fight, could set up the play for Flash Wolves, and they lost it. And Team Secret utilized that very well, and they punished Flash Wolves to a T. And now Flash Wolves needs to respond, and they're doing it. Bruce comes in for the flank, goes for the charm, will not connect though. And now Ysera to the flank as well, up against Trevor, trying to put him down. But look at that, Final Spark saves his life, but not any longer. Ysera goes for the Stasis Enchant, and Team Secret just jumps around with a Killer Instinct. Chewie just jumps in, gets a kill. Now they're looking for the mid lane inhib turret. Flash Wolves locking, the only one left to defend. But can he do it? He is alone against 5. Team Secret pushes on the Nexus. Trevor is there, zoning away the enemy team. And this will be game 1 for Team Secret.
15k gold lead. Team Secret is